Abusive relationships. Very effective, wouldn't you agree, Bats? That's a line Joker says to Batman himself on the subject of his relationship with Harley Quinn. Now, people ask me why I choose Harley Quinn to cosplay, and I tell them that it's because she was born, well, when I say born, she appeared in the same month and year as I did. Well, there's a little more to the story than that. This contains a few sensitive stories, so if you don't want to hear this, if you don't want to see another side to me, you might want to look away now. When I was 12, I met a guy, well, let's call him Guy, shall we? And he became my boyfriend. Of course, being 12, I didn't believe for a minute it was anything serious. But at the time, I did genuinely think I was going to spend the rest of my life with this boy. Looking back on it now, a bit silly, but yeah. Of course, for the first 6 months, everything was perfect. He was romantic, sweet, caring. But then, things started to change. He grew less interested in me, and more interested in making me feel like shit. Complete shit. It wasn't anything physical at first. It wasn't anything people would notice. It was just subtle things. Like ignoring me and just basically not treating me the way he used to. It was more emotional and psychological back then. I thought I'd done something wrong, and he let me believe it. Then it started. The name calling. He would call me useless, call me ugly, he'd call me fat. He'd say I was the best he could ever do. He was the best I could ever do, of course. And it hurts. But not as much as what happened next did. After, say, a year or so of being together, Guy grew physically abusive. He would pull my hair. He would hit me. He once even had me up against the wall with his hands around my throat. All this for a 13-year-old girl. Not exactly the best start to relationships, is it? But then he got caught by his own mum. She helped me to get out of there. It's always nice to have some support. For the next few years, I was too scared to go near a boy. And it was very difficult because I used to get called a lesbian because I didn't want to be with boys, because I genuinely was terrified of them. And then it happened. I was 17. We were at a rehearsal, and I realised I was in love with a boy. Let's call him Joe. Or Mr. J, to be more precise. Now, Mr. J, he was sweet, he was charming, he was everything I'd wanted in a man. But of course, Mr. J had a dark secret. Well, it didn't take as long as it did with Guy. About 3 months into our relationship, Mr. J begins to abuse me, pulling me around by my hair, slapping me in the face. It's funny because he even started referring to me as his Harley. But yeah, we were in a very deep trouble with that moment onwards. his abuse was not just emotional and physical, it was sexual as well. And this goes no further than this room, okay? But yeah, that's why I feel a connection to Harley. She changed for a man. She paid the price for it. And I know exactly how that feels. And so to come out here today and bear all in front of you, I guess it's something of a relief, but at the same time, it still hurts to think about those things. But still, it's best to smile throughout all these things, isn't it?